the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have basically a brand new look on the offensive side of the ball. New quarterback, new receiver core, new running back, some additions to the offensive line. They did finish second in the NFC South last season with a 7-10 record. Nothing to really sneeze about, but like I said, the South was really bad last year. The Bucs won it with an 8-9 record, so one win there, they would have won the division. But they ultimately ended up with the first overall pick, which is not a bad thing, right? If you're in a rebuild mode, but it also gives you a lot of favorable games this season, right? So the Carolina Panthers guys, like I said, they finished 7-10 last season. This year I had them going 10-7. 10-7. They open up on the road versus Atlanta. That is a loss. I think Bryce Young is going to feel a little overwhelmed. His first game it's going to be a lot of hype. Desmond Ridder versus Bryce Young. You know, how many times are we going to see this in the future? Yada yada yada. I think it's just going to be a little bit overwhelmed, and the Falcons just have a better defense. So offenses normally don't click in the first quarter. Defenses do. I think the Falcons have a little bit better defense right now, and they win that game. Monday Night Football at home versus the Saints. This is when everything starts to click for the Carolina Panthers. This is when things start to happen. They beat the Saints. But then they travel to Seattle. Coast-to-coast game. It's tough. It is early in the season. They are young, but they lose to the Seahawks. They beat the Vikings, and then they kind of get in this gauntlet here. The Lions and Dolphins back-to-back weeks, both on the road. Both losses, unfortunately. Given a Week 7 bye week, catch their breath, and this is where they say, hold my beer, we're getting ready to go on a tear. They beat the Texans, they beat the Colts back-to-back weeks, but then they lose to the Bears on the road and lose to the Cowboys. And then they beat the Texans, they beat the Titans on the road, and they beat the Bucs on the road, but then they lose to the Saints at 3-game stretches. So they've had 4 road games in 5 weeks. That is tough. And then they finish out the season on a 4-game winning streak over the Falcons, over the Packers. They traveled to Jacksonville, beat the Jaguars, and they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 18, finishing with a 10-7 record. Nothing to sneeze about. Nothing. That is a 3-game improvement. Now, there are a lot of games that could go their way, right? Atlanta Falcons, week 1, could definitely go their way. Chicago Bears, week 10, could definitely go their way. It is a Thursday night game, but that's why I picked the Bears, because it's a Thursday night game, but it is what it is. But I do have the Carolina Panthers going 10-7 this season. They should be excited. They should be very, very pumped about this.